morning. Good morning. Here we are at Department of Career Services. I'm frothing my oleato. Second. So, good morning, people. Here we are once again, Department of Career Services, where our goal is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Maybe it's easy, but it's not simple. It's to help you get from where you are to someplace better. From point A to point B, from Someday Isle to Successlandia, in quotes. Good morning, Watabevy. And we do it quite simply. If we break it all down and say, what is the essence of what we do? We help you create habits that are better than your other habits. So it could be getting up early in the morning to pay attention to this while you're waking up. It could be during the day while you're riding the bus, or you're in your car, or you have a break from work, or you're going for a walk. It's about just creating better habits. Better habits are created by routine. And routine is the result of repetition. It's that much. It's just training your brain. You could call it discipline. You could call it self-discipline. That's what we do. And we generally have a theme for our meme, our daily meme. And what is a meme? It's an idea that spreads from brain to brain. It doesn't have to be, it could be visual, audio, smell, I guess, touch. It's an idea that spreads from brain to brain. So that's what we want to do. Very simple. We have a very structured approach to that. So there's the podcast and there's the non-podcast part. And the non-podcast part has 4 parts. Preparation, which is a breathing exercise. Having an attitude of gratitude. So sitting there focused, thinking, and asking or saying, making the statement, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then turn inside and watch the things that you're happy and grateful for pop up, like popcorn or like a movie credits or ticker tape. Get on a positive outlook towards life and attitude of gratitude. Review. Third would be a review of yesterday, an examination of what you did yesterday to see where you fell short of the mark, where you exceeded expectations, and it's from the perspective of learning, not value judgment, not patting yourself on the back, not beating yourself up. Ooh, ow, that hurt. No, not from doing it that way, just from a detached, phenomenological, where was I good? Where did I fall short? What do I need to do? And then lastly would be to project the day, be like the athlete. Before they take the shot, they see the shot in their mind, etc. So that's the non-podcast part. The podcast part, we talk about our daily meme, our theme. We really focus on planning, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we want to plan our work and work our plan. Right, say that with me. Plan our work and work our plan. That's what we want to do. And then the third part on our podcast is this is all in the context of a 4-part transformation: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So those are like the 4 legs of a table. And if you have a 4-legged table, you want all 4 legs to be solid. Not just strong, because you can have a strong leg, but it's not solidly attached. And boom, it falls off. You get a little vibration, a little shake, something, the leg falls off, and now everything on the table goes sliding to the floor. Some things are broken, other things are not. Now you got to pick them up, put them back in order. A lot of time wasted. You can never get back to where you were before. Or as Heraclitus said, you can never step into the same river twice. So with that in mind, we have our worksheet, which is attached in the notes down below. Well, that's not attached. There's a link to the worksheet. There's also a link to the worksheet on our website, both of our websites, so you can get it there. The worksheet is where the magic is. And on our worksheet, we usually have highlighted in red. So the worksheet is the experts giving advice primarily in a physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual area of your life, things that you can do to work on those. And we highlight the important ones in red. We have highlighted Andrew Huberman talking about dopamine, Inc. magazine today. Got to read the small print. How to stop forgetting important things. Understand the neuroscience of memory. Bing, bing, bong, bong. Okay. Pinball machine. Chunking. Okay. Motivational. Very good one today. This is a very, he talks about oxytocin, how it works, and how your thoughts release chemicals that create emotions, and your emotions release, no, your emotions cause thoughts. So there's a circular type thing, and you can circle down or you can circle up. So a very good one. And I thought we had 3 of them highlighted. Andrew Huberman, yeah. Inc. magazine and the motivational video. Darren Hardy is not highlighted, but it's also a good one too for understanding human nature. But let's move on. Let's move on. I gotta make a call urgently. Okay, make your call. We will proceed. So the theme of today is what? No. The theme of today is what if you were predictable? What if you were predictable? So why do most of us not want to be predictable? Because we're afraid of what? Being manipulated, being controlled, right? So we want to have an element of predictability. No, because if I'm predictable, you can set up the scenario. So in other words, if you know the thinking of the canteen thing, the doesn't come to mind right now. But if you know the rule that I will follow, you can set up a stimulus and get the response that you want. Okay, that's the problem with being predictable. You can be manipulated and controlled. So we kind of become unpredictable. But what if you were predictable? And what if you avoided people who wanted to manipulate you? So I had a discussion with somebody yesterday about the world that they are in requires that they be two-faced to people they don't like. In other words, I really don't like you, but I'm going to pretend like I like you. When I see you, I'm going to be nice and polite, but after that, I'm going to resort to how I actually feel about you, but I want you to think I think differently of you. Not on the level of, well, you know I don't like you, and I know you don't like me, but we're not going to drag other people into our drama, so we're just going to act polite. That's a little bit different. This is, I want you to think that I like you, but deep down you really know that I don't, except you can't really prove it, and I will always deny it to other people unless I can trust those people. And life gets very complicated versus I don't associate with people who I don't like or I don't trust. Let's say I can't trust. I don't associate with people I can't trust because I'm always worried then about when they're going to stab me in the back. So if those people approach me, I avoid them. And if other people notice it, then they notice it. And then that will provide them an indication of how I will act towards them if they act the same way as the other person. In other words, it would be called being real. What if everybody was predictable? Would the world be better? So let's run that through the categorical imperative. What if everyone was predictable? I can say it was a law to be predictable, and everybody did it. Well, certainly if everybody acted in good faith, it would be better, right? We wouldn't be spending time on, well, what did he really mean? What's he really up to? Is he telling me the truth? It would just be like, boom, move forward. On a sports team, right? You can, if everybody's predictable, if you know everybody, here's your job, you're going to do your job. I don't need to worry about whether you're going to do your job or not. We win, right? If I can predict what you're going to do, if I can anticipate it and I can trust it, we're going to win. But if you throw a bad actor in the game, and today's Jordan Peterson thing is the professor from Stanford. It's kind of a very crazy Russian Jewish name, beard. He's talking about, no, the best strategy is to stab people in the back, unless you don't know how many times you're going to interact with them. If you're going to interact with them once, stab them in the back. And if you interact with them once, it's not going to get out. Your reputation isn't going to be affected. You're never going to see them again. Stab them in the back. If you're going to have if you know you're going to have two interactions with them, stab them in the back. But he said, but if you don't know how many interactions you're going to have with the person, then cooperation becomes important. So what if you think about that, contemplate that in your life? Am I predictable? Can people depend upon me? Can they count on me? And then what happens if people form a belief? Nope, can't trust this person. What has to happen to change that belief? See, a lot of energy needs to go into it. But if somebody is predictable, I really don't want to give you a key because you're going to lose the key. No, I'm not going to lose the key. I'm not going to lose the key. And then they lose the key. Now what? Now what happens? Right. But then you can have a discussion, right? So the key to being predictable is you have to, if you're going to become predictable, you have to be willing to suffer the slings and arrows of what occurs from that. People will try to hurt you, manipulate you, control you, because they know what you're going to do, right? They know your thing, Kantian thing, the moral rule that you live by, and they know the result, so they can set up the stimulus. So you got to be prepared. Your life is going to be suffering. However, you have the opportunity now to avoid those people. Or you can say, I'm predictable, and you're predictable in that you're going to try to manipulate me. So you're going to want to manipulate me, and I know that you're going to want to manipulate me. So then I'm going to be able to predict, I can predict on you that you're going to try to manipulate me. So I have to be very careful whether I buy in to what it is you want me to do, which means I will probably have to say no, because I need to remain entirely predictable. And thus the manipulator, if you're predictable, the manipulator, if you're predictable and you know that I'm going to try to manipulate you, you will not cooperate with me. And I, as the manipulator, will know there's no point trying to manipulate you because you are already expecting it. Versus a world where people are not predictable, where you don't know whether they're trying to manipulate you or not. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. And as Sokolov, I think is his name, says if you don't know how many interactions you're going to have, you need to cooperate. But if you do, always stab them in the back. All right. Anyway, where are we for time? We are what a bevy. Being simple is a high spiritual compliment. Oop. I'm back. Oop. Being spiritual. Okay. So think about it. Think about your life. Go through it today. Think about your life of how predictable am I? When am I predictable? When am I not predictable? Should I be more or less predictable? Will my life change for the better if I become predictable? Will it change for the worse? And the consequence of being unpredictable is you can't be trusted because people don't know what you're going to do by definition. If you're not predictable, we don't know what you're going to do. So we can't trust you in this circumstance. So that's a thing to think about. And I would posit, running it through the categorical imperative, Kantian philosophy, the categorical imperative, that it's probably better to be predictable. Being predictable is probably better than being unpredictable. And if you find yourself in a room full of unpredictable people and you're the predictable one, just don't cooperate. Just be prepared to say no, because you know they're going to probably try to manipulate you. So the thing would be wait, get out of the room, go into a different room would be probably the best thing to do. And yeah, so there we are. And it is 6:16. What a bevy. Do you have time for a call later? This is our morning breakfast at the Methodist Church, our rope danglers, our love thy neighbor thing of morning breakfast. And then I got a dash off at 9 o'clock. I got a dash off to meet with Dr. Linden. And I got to turn my paper in tonight by 11:59. I might be cutting it close. Very interesting paper, cutting it close, etc. So yeah, might be okay. Anyway, thank you all for being there. This is part of it. We're all in this together. I advise that at least in this group, let's be predictable. Let's be predictable in this group, and then maybe we expand it outward. And with that, Auf Wiedersehen, people.